Right live. Up here. YouTube doesn't want me to stream horizontally on my phones. Want to be that way? Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Let's see what's happening now. Sorry for the nostril shot there. All right. I can watch along with you. I'm just putting you on a stand here. It sort of works. Sort of working. Oh, we gotta plug you in, otherwise we're gonna lose power. Welcome back, welcome back. Sorry about the technical difficulties yet again. It's not one thing or it's another this week. I've actually had challenges uploading videos. I've got a cool music retrospective video I've been trying to upload, but it just craps out at 61% and refuses to go the rest of the way. And then I got another video I recorded earlier. Hello, welcome in. Hi Jody, hi Roxana. My brutal YouTubing technical skills are being stretched to the limit yet again today. So we're just going to go live on the iPhone. What am I even looking at here? Talking about? Oh yeah, Matt Walker. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Matt Walker today. Talk a little bit about what am I doing? Yes, it's that's a good question. What am I doing? Come on in, everybody. We're going to be talking about some really interesting stuff. Hello again, Sylvia. Sorry about all the craziness. That first sitting of the Court of Public Opinion was pretty trippy. So I had OBS Studio working last night on my live stream, but I couldn't get the camera going. So I fooled around, fumbled. I got the camera going, and now the audio is super nasty. So I'll have to figure it out. Now we're just shooting vertical on the old iPhone. So there's nothing I need to share on screen. If anybody's interested, I did a whole thing about Rule 122H, which Sylvia in the chat had requested I cover. And this is the Arizona Rule of Civil Procedure or Criminal Procedure in their courts. And Matthew Walker, the Tucson City prosecutor, was in the process or has petitioned the Arizona Supreme Court to change the rules so that nobody's allowed to recording device in the court, period, unless they get unless they make a request to the court and get permission from the judge, or I guess the court. And so I did like a whole hour plus on that yesterday, and this is all related to the Lane Myers situation in Arizona. He's being held as a political prisoner in Pima County, so we'll talk about that. Yeah, I got some homestead content I want to post, but my uploading to YouTube has not been happening efficiently. I don't know if it's on my end or their end, or maybe I'm being throttled in some way. I just can't upload video, but I'll do live stream here today. I'll try to look at the camera. I'm gonna try to get you set up so that I'm looking at the chat. So I'm not looking down, but I'm looking at you. So bear with me. I'm not in any hurry if you aren't. I've got all afternoon if we need to just hang out. What should we do here? I just want to bring up my channel here so I can watch the chat on the screen instead of my phone. I want top chat. Make sure you're on live chat. Oh, another story. Once I figured this out, I was talking with a friend of mine, and I don't want to say too much, but he has got a story and a half that you guys would love. So if I can get him to do an interview with me at some point, he'll probably be my first guest. If I use like StreamYard so that I could bring in people on panel to discuss, he has got a story that's going to blow your mind. And without saying too much, I don't want to give away any details, but his situation is such that, how do I frame this? The knowledge he's sitting on could take down like whole climate change narrative and this net zero phony baloney malarkey. So it's like, I'm friends with a guy that's kind of operating in those kinds of levels of major impact. So I'm gonna see, like he's kind of worried for his own safety because the things he's been running into, and without revealing anything, or I'll want to let him tell his story if he's willing to. It will blow your minds. And so I'll just leave it at that. So leave a comment if you want to hear that video or that interview, and I'll do my best to persuade him to come. And you can, we can hide his identity. He could do it somewhat anonymously, or at least protect his identity so that any blowback doesn't come full force at him. All right, so just a little more repositioning, and then I could focus my attention directly on you guys. Man, I suck at this. What is this? What is this? Oh, that's the power. I can't unplug that. Okay, let's scoot you right over here. It's another 3 seconds. Should have this mess. Oh, what a rat's nest. All right, let's try this. There is no try, there's only do. What the heck? All right, whatever. It's not important. You back in. I gotta get a bunch of wireless mouses and stuff like that. This stuff is useful. I'll be able to use it, but it's not doing it for me right now. Anyways, yeah, I did this whole video last night about Lane Myers and the 122 situation. It was mostly about going through the petition that Matt Walker had submitted in the Arizona courts. And it's quite a situation there. I mean, it seems to be a full-on attack on the First Amendment, freedom of speech. And kind of what occurred to me today was just more thoughts of, like, why is this such a big deal? Because this argument is, this is to prevent bad actors from, the way I portrayed it in my video yesterday, from doing their evil deeds, because all their thoughts and intents are only ever on evil. And he specifically names Lane Myers as an example of such a bad actor. And so it's to protect victims and plaintiffs, whether criminal or civil matters, to protect them from harassment and intimidation, because that's Matthew Walker, Tucson City prosecutor, is able to read into people's minds and discern their thoughts and intentions and motivations, and he has concluded without the ability of anybody to answer that if you walk into a court with the intention of recording the procedure, with one of these, that you're a bad actor. And so I went through all the reasoning of, like, no, it's not about that, but it's about when you're dealing with government officials, it's really always in your best interest to record your encounters, because the record either disappears or you're caught in endless delays, sending emails back and forth, so you're annoying the court's clerk and the court staff. And as a litigant like Lane Myers, if you're kind of juggling 20 different cases at any one time and you're impatient to begin with, I mean, it's just going to turn ugly real fast. So why not bring one of these into the courtroom and record it? So you're currently allowed by their court rules, Rule 122, to use a personal recording device and even broadcast it. Like, live streaming is permitted by the current rule. Matt Walker wants to see that ability taken away unless you get explicit permission from the court, meaning likely the judge. And it's just ludicrous on the face of it. The reasoning he goes through, or I went through the document yesterday. We read pretty much the whole thing until it just was so ridiculous we had to kind of skip to the end, and like it just doesn't make any sense. Matt Walker argues against his own position by acknowledging, the First Amendment is in place and defendants do have rights and everybody has rights, and so it's kind of it's just frustrating. It's confirmation to me that the system is set up to bury us. The system isn't broken. It works just fine. But I think we misunderstand why the system is in place and what it exists for. It's for your destruction. So that's why we're having this court of public opinion hearing today. Just get a few eyeballs here. The whole system is corrupt. Yes, you could write a book about that, Jody. Glad to see you. In any case, this is in part why I started this YouTube channel, is to get a few eyeballs on me and what I have to say. Like, a lot of us know each other through Lane's channel. There's other people that have been bombing in from all over the place. Like I've been doing a lot of music content as far as videos that I've been shooting, and there's a variety of topics that I think are somewhat interrelated. Like I was going to do a video at some point about what Lane Myers has taught me about music. Not, his skill at the air hammer or his dance moves or anything like that, or none of that performative kind of exhibitionist stuff. You're not going to see that on this channel. If you want to wear yoga pants, you can go ahead, but I don't think you're going to be seeing that here. I never say never. I'm just, it's not in my plans to do that. All kidding aside, though, the system though is very institutional, and it's a large, lumbering, monolithic, top-down, centrally controlled structure, and it's very difficult to move and maneuver that whole gargantuan system. But people like us that are gathering in 2s and 3s and 10s and 20s and 100s, we're creating a network of people that are talking with one another, sharing with one another, inspiring one another. And it's like we got a web. This is the World Wide Web. And each one of us is a node on the web connected to other nodes. And if that network is big enough, then something can happen to any one of those nodes, but the network remains maintains its integrity. So right now, the Lane Myers node is behind bars. That node is not neutralized, but the effectiveness of that node is causing the rest of us nodes to have to adapt to what the current situation is on the ground. And so strategically, the system that Jody says is corrupt, like it's easy to make workarounds. And that's what Lane was kind of doing with this recording. That's what all of us need to be doing, since we all have basically a media corporation in your back pocket. All you have to do is turn your camera around, and you're an investigative reporter, or you have that ability to be a journalist, citizen journalist, however you think of it. If you don't like the word citizen, come up with your own, exercising your freedom of the press to report on matters of public interest. And people like Matt Walker and Judge Alexander, Francis Bell, and Stacey Jane, and Rachel Stiles, and the list goes on and on and on. They're part of that system, and we're never going to convince them that they need to change their ways. And so I don't expect them to. That's not my goal. It's to work around their system and use the tools that they've put in our hands to enslave us, and use that for our good. And that's what Lane taught me, is that was the major takeaway, is using YouTube as a platform to weaponize trolling the government. And that's not against the law. You can troll public officials, public servants, the government. Like that's not a crime. And that's all that Lane has been doing, is trolling the government in a very effective way by making public everything that's going on. And so Matt Walker claims that pulling out your device and recording proceedings or hearings is causing damage to the very fabric of society and endangering plaintiffs and victims. That's nonsense. I mean, if the judge is allowing harassing, intimidating behavior in his courtroom, then he's responsible. But if the decorum is being maintained, like this is the point I'm trying to make. It took 10 minutes to lead up to this. If a court proceeding, a hearing is taking place, and everybody's maintaining decorum, like how are you going to use that public record, which is public? It's going to be, that record belongs to all of us to look up and request that material at any time. How are you going to turn around and turn a legal proceeding into intimidation? Like there's a disconnect. Could you please, Matt Walker, come in the chat and explain to me? I'm inviting you in. I promise I won't press charges. against harassment or cyber stalking or intimidation, if you show up in the chat right now and explain to me how you're going to convince anybody in the court of public opinion that recording your own hearing is a way to weaponize communications in order to harass and intimidate victims and plaintiffs. Utter nonsense. If a judge allows that, well, that's on the judge. Like I can almost see if there's speech or things going on in a courtroom that's outside a First Amendment protected activity, then the opposing counsel or the opposing team can object to the judge and say, I object on the grounds that, this is not protected speech, and we were, and then whoever the objection is being leveled against, they can respond back and say, no, this is protected speech. I'm going to continue. And so it's, yeah, you can ask for a closed hearing if that's the case. And so this is just utter nonsense. It's an attack against all our freedoms. And it happens to be happening in the United States of America, where liberty and justice for all are kind of like, you're very patriotic and very, this isn't a criticism, this is a good thing. Like you're very willing to adhere to like the founding intentions of the founding fathers within your founding documents, but that's not the system that exists as of today. Like the system has been weaponized, but the system has been constructed by not we the people. That power was removed at some point. It's not important when it happened, but it has happened because all the evidence points to that reality. So if we're going to do something, we have to, I guess, stand up for our rights. I went through the process yesterday. There's a bit of a delay. I just see all my hand waving and stuff going around. It's pretty funny. I look like a do a dancing beaver dance or something. But yeah, I went through the process of how you can respond to this petition by Matt Walker through the website, the Arizona courts.gov website. So go back to the Saturday night live stream. I'm not going to go through all of that material again today. It's just repeating it over and over isn't going to make a difference at this point. So it's there, it's up. There's a warning there that, caution, if you click on this stream, you may be opening yourself up to legal liability, criminal and civil, because I take cyber stalking and internet harassment very seriously, and I'm willing to prosecute to the highest level of the law. So you guys are safe. I'm not gonna haul any of you in front of a black rope tyrant, but like it's a joke. Like Lane never even violated YouTube community standards or policies or their terms and conditions. So I mean, we're talking YouTube. Like if they wouldn't make him pull his videos down, that tells you like how can a court order that? How can you take a guy's internet away? And for the things he's done, throw him in jail with no bond. Like, oh my goodness. I can't even believe I'm saying these things. When I hear it, it just sounds ridiculous. And then somebody came in last night and started telling me I was wrong and that Lane needs to be in prison for life. And I was like, what the heck? Are you insane? Like, move to China. You don't belong in America if you believe that Lane needs to be put away for a long, long time for the things he's done. Like, it's just, I don't know. But the point is, Matt Walker's petition to the Supreme Court, which you've got till May 1st to submit your comment. And again, I'm not going to comment. Like, I'm in Canada. I'm just trying to get the word out there and use my little platform here, not to be an influencer, but to spread the word. And going back to my conversation with my buddy, like he knows an investigative reporter up here in Canada that may also have the ability to connect with people in the States So if that's a possibility, I'm going to see if I can connect with him and get some interest in the Lane Myers story. I know people down, this is a public service. Foshin has been trying to get that out. Biskuping on ABC News or whatever, the investigative reporter in Phoenix or wherever he's located. Like there's a small movement of interest, but like we could probably get some traction on this story if we're telling people about it. I've seen comments that on Foshin's channels, like we're a law firm and we've been watching what's going on with Lane and with much interest. And even the channels that are the frauditors or they're haters of Lane Myers, they're getting the word out. So I check in to see what they're saying. A lot of it is total garbage. They either don't have the whole story or they're reading something into the case that isn't there. But that's fine. The more people talking about it, that's not going to hurt Lane, even if they're directly attacking him. And so I've been saying for a while on this channel, like rather than go the head-on face frontal approach that Lane has been doing, waging war right in the trenches with the black robe tyrants and with the prosecutors and with the the U.S. Marshals and taking the fight to City Hall. I think a side channel approach is best to attack the tender flank and the underbelly of this beast that we're trying to get results here. Taya at Real News Network would be awesome. Real News Network. That sounds familiar, but I'm not following that, so I can't comment. Just get the word out to whoever. It's not gonna hurt at this time. I suppose there's things we could say on YouTube that are gonna hurt Lane's case, but my disclosure right here is I'm just spouting my opinion. What is this? Yeah, Honorable Brent. Yes, I'm a chief magistrate in the Court of Public Opinion. You didn't know that? And you're supposed to rise when you address the bench. So, welcome in. What's the matter, you? Just chatting about the Lane Myers situation, kind of rehashing some ideas about what I shared in last night's stream, which was a full breakdown of Matthew Walker's attempt to destroy the First Amendment as it applies to bad actors read and understood as Lane Myers and people of his ilk that only have evil and thoughts of harassment and intimidation on their minds when they record public officials in the course of their duties, because won't somebody please think of the children? And so his claims are all unfounded. Like that ought to be exhibit number one. Is he's just making conclusory statements without any evidence. His evidence, his exhibit for the Supreme Court is a few case law references that I haven't looked up all those references, but it seemed like he was clutching at straws there. And the other exhibit was a video that Lane Myers shot and posted on his YouTube. So I was like, come on. I mean, if I was Lane Myers, I would say exhibit number one is the name of my YouTube channel is Lane Myers. What is it? Channel for Nonviolent Public or social change. Nonviolent. We're not about violence. We're a nonviolent army. We mean you no physical harm. But what are the accusations? Oh, we're afraid for our lives. We're afraid for our children. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. So the fact that various judges and prosecutors are putting up with this, yeah, it's a work. It's a scam. It's WWE wrestling. None of this is real. It's all fake. It's meant to blind you, I guess, and yeah, I don't want to hold myself as someone with, particular X-ray vision to see through all the lies and the bullshit. But like, if this isn't making it perfectly clear to every American, and Lane's not the first one. Like, there's others. I don't know the Eric Brandt story. I do know a little bit about Craig Hendry's story. I know a lot about Lane Meyer's story. And Lane, I guess, had the impression that he could take the fight to them and prevail. And I think one person, I don't know if one person has the skill. Like, Lane was going off and saying, I'm the chosen one. I'm the one. He's gifted. He's most certainly got capacities and capabilities that suit him for this. But the machine that you're trying to destroy is very powerful, and just one man or one movement alone, head on, power for power, strength for strength. I think they've got him outgunned, and the evidence is that he's not free to leave the Pima County Adult Detention Center at this point. He is contained and confined, and barring some writ or appeal, or I don't know what at this point. Like, I don't see a legal remedy that's apparent. Again, I'm not a litigator. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a pro se idiot. And we're trying to figure this out together. You're going to have to submit a motion to the court if you want to be found not guilty. Overruled. So you're guilty as anybody I've ever come across. What's the matter with you? So, but I'm welcome to hear your argument. Convince me you're not guilty. And that is the system. We're all guilty. What did Stalin say? Show me the man and I'll show you the crime. Meaning, you don't have to have done anything wrong. Just bring me a human and put him in front of me, and we'll make some charges stick. That's what we live under. This is, if it's not communism, it's approaching it. If it's not a Soviet system, I mean, it just may look a little different, but yeah, here in Canada, like we're essentially a banana republic, and I know I keep repeating myself from time to time, but another thing too is human psychology. Is people don't get things the first time, so it's not that I forgot that I said some stuff. Ooh, contempt of the court of public opinion. What do we do? Jury trial, time him out, stick him in the gulag. I got a motion for you. Yeah. How about that, buddy? Oh, that's not looking good. What's the matter? So yeah, it's like this ought to be an eye-opener. It is for me. Well, it's not an eye-opener for me. It's confirmation that everything I had suspected about the system is true. Now, do I get a medal for that? Do I get some kind of special award? No. It just means we have to come up with a better strategy rather than the head-on, take it to them and, let the chips fall where they may. Because that's been, I guess, Lane's strategy. I don't know if... I'm not saying he should stop that strategy, but in concert with more, we got to do more than just what he's doing, because the results are what they are. Like, he's in jail, Craig Henry's in jail, others are in jail. The J6ers, they've been pardoned. There's still some of them in jail. People up here were honking their horns in Ottawa during the COVID scam. What was it? Scamdemic? I forget. YouTube will put a little message letting us know that COVID-19 is a serious health hazard, and that we all need to follow public health officials and do whatever the United Nations says to do about it. But yeah, they gathered in Ottawa and were honking their horns and made a lot of people real mad. So they declared a national emergency because what about the children? And found these people guilty of non-crimes, guilty of honking their horns. And they froze bank accounts and they did this and they did that. And some people went to prison and some people weren't even convicted and some were pardoned, but they spent 3 years in prison. Like, was it 2025 now? Like like it's it's a joke, right? The joke is on us. So we've got to come up with a better plan. And I think the plan is this technology, these platforms. Let's use them while we got them. We might have to develop our own. I'm kind of disappointed that these tech giants are able to dominate so much. And I've said it before, it's all in the name of advertising revenue. Like the whole internet is about selling you stuff. It's not about sharing information or increasing public or human potential and human knowledge. It's about selling you garbage that's made in China so that they can get ads right in front of your eyeballs 24/7. And then Elon Musk wants to have a chip in your brain right to the cloud so they can send Tesla ads straight into your frontal cortex. Like, what the heck? Is that what we need? Is that what we want? uh, it's funny when you say it, but that's what these psychos are doing. It's all these psychos in power, and you know, yeah. Do these psychopaths rise to places of power, or do these places of power turn people into psychopaths? I don't know, but yeah, I got other stories of corruption that I'm itching to share, but just obvious corruption. But I got to sit on this for now. But what I'm seeing in Arizona is an abomination. It is antithetical to everything that I thought the United States stood for, and so we got to come up with newer and better methods of attacking this beast. And so I think the more people, the more nodes we can create in the network, the better. I had the book up here the other. Where is it? Oh yeah. This is one to bring. Oh, some of you may not have been watching some of the previous live streams or materials, but I talk a lot on this channel, or not a lot, but I've mentioned it before about demographics. And like, I'm 53 years old. The boomers, my parents' generation, the generation before them were either the silent generation or the post-depression era babies, which would have been my grandparents, and then the greatest generation before them. But then behind me are the millennials. And so those folks were born from 1980 to about 1995, and then they seem to be like 15-year blocks that they're dividing these generational cohorts into now. And then the Gen Zs followed behind. My friend is a Gen Zer. He affectionately calls it Generation Zyklon. So those are people that would have been born between 1995 and 2010. And then Generation Alpha is 2010 until this present date, 2025. And we're just on the cusp of the first generation beta babies really being born now as we speak. So I don't know if the generation begins at New Year's Eve on every 15 years, but there's a book I had come across or was recommended back in the day. This was written in the 90s, I believe, and it's been updated by David Foote. So this is a Canadian book, and it's very interesting. because in Canada, the baby boom generation, my parents' generation, made up the largest percentage of our population. And compared to other countries in the Western world, like Australia, England, most of Europe, the United States, even, uh, uh, the percentage of baby boomers in Canada as a percentage of the total population was greater than in any developed country, like Japan, et cetera, et cetera. And so they've had an even more profound impact on Canadian culture and society than even in the United States. And you know, the impact as a group, the baby boomers, is felt worldwide as a whole, but in Canada specifically, like it was profoundly impactful. And so this book, it's probably been updated several times or revised. I don't know when it was originally written. This one is, whatever. It might say in here. Kind of not important. But this was kind of a book to help you get your head around financing and like personal finances and investing in the boom to come. And that was another book by Harry S. Dent. I think it was called The Boom. Oh, it was the next boom, the boom ahead or something. And so these people were writing back in the day ahead of their time. And so it's interesting to go back and see how they're predicting. I think it was in Harry Dent, the great boom ahead. And in that he was talking about how computers would come to dominate our society, and how privacy would change over time, in that we exchange security for freedom, to make the world a safer place for all, and how governments would get larger and more centralized. And I believe he said the way around that is to develop this system of networks and nodes, and be able to protect yourself as an individual. And this book is kind of about investing, you know, how to take advantage of, you know, the products that are being designed. At one time, it was all to cater to that boomer generation. And those people were born after the Second World War, when all the soldiers came back. They had to repopulate, you know, the nation because of the men lost in war. And so from 1945 and on, or, you know, depending on, I forget the exact dates that they define that generation, from 1945 to 1965, about that 20-year stretch, this large group of individuals was born into the world. And so as a result, like, you had a boom in schools being built. Disposable diapers came out around the time, you know, in the 60s and 50s, you know, to make it easier on mothers, and all these conveniences were catering to that boomer generation. You know, their parents needed help, and the market provided that assistance with new products, new services. The rise of drive-through restaurants and like fast foods like McDonald's. It was people with growing families, and a way to get a cheap meal, and you know, to feed these teenagers that were hungry and eating their parents out of house and home. Well, send them to McDonald's with 50 cents, and they could feed themselves and all their friends. So just thing after thing. When it came to vehicles, you know, the rise of the minivan, you know, a nice sporty little way for the boomers and yuppies to boot their family around town. And then the rise of the luxury cars as the boomers got older and more influential and more powerful and more affluent. You know, these luxury cars were catering to the tastes and preferences of boomers. And so the whole marketplace has been dominated by boomer-centric ideas and services and products, and those people, they're kind of on their way out. They're either in decline or they're dying. You know, the oldest of the boomers are are getting to be in their mid to late 80s already, or in their 80s. They're approaching the real twilight years of life. And so once they're all gone, once the last of the boomers has died off, there's going to be a shift towards something different. And so the point of me of saying all this, I find that fascinating. And you can predict the future if you can see the population that's on the earth at any given time, what their needs and preferences and desires and how to cater to them is going to be. And right now, people that think like me, we're wanting the most freedom we can get for, the most bang for our buck. And so to me, that seems a good way to do it is online, building communities, because it's tough to find people that aren't woke, but are based, or whatever the terminology you use, that are red pilled, or like in my area, it's conservative. The people are conservative, but they're not willing to stand up and fight. It's more, let's maintain the status quo. And I've repeated this theme a number of times. Is I'm all about tossing the status quo. The status quo is not serving us here in Canada very well. It's not serving Americans very well, in my opinion. Although there's people that would argue that I'm wrong. No, everything is perfect. Just fine the way it is. Just sit there and take your prescribed government government authoritarianism. That's all that you need to obey and consume. And that's not what I'm interested in. And I'm somewhat of the black sheep in my family. I'm the only one that really thinks this way. The rest of my family, they're hyper conformists. They're happy with institutional thinking. They're willing to do whatever the government tells them to do. And I've got that streak like Lane Myers. I can't handle that cognitive dissonance when I can see with my own eyes that something is bad for my own interests, but the government is telling me, no, don't believe your lying eyes. Just trust us and do this, to the point where we're going to mandate it, or we're going to turn it into a law and make such and such activity, or refusing to do such and such activity against the law that's punishable. Like, no. I withdraw consent. No, just no. So that's where I'm at. It's a lot of rambling to say nothing, but yeah, the Lane Myers situation. We'll continue to fight. I don't know which direction to take the fight, other than kind of what I've been saying in the last couple of days. Like I don't have any legal ideas or remedies. Getting this broadcast, far and wide is a legit strategy. I mean, I don't know. Like people got to pick up on the story. Like we could talk about it all day long, but if people aren't willing to listen, it doesn't matter. We could do 24-hour, 7 days a week live streaming. We got to get through to people, and so I guess something else to talk about is there is what's known as the culture war, and I've been watching this kind of trends for the last 20 years or longer. And I almost think that's a misnomer, or that terminology is not accurate. It's not so much a culture war, but it's a war of the worlds, or world views in particular. And I had mentioned this other author, this Canadian author, Bill Gardner, and this book I have is called The Great Divide. And it kind of talks about the division between liberals and conservatives, the left and the right, which I don't buy into that false dichotomy. People on the left actually have something of value to say. People on the right actually have something of value to say. I don't agree with everything that either side says. I'm somewhere up here, not down here. And the powers that be want the left and right fighting against each other, because they know they're never going to come to agreement. There are some things that liberals or progressives or people on the left, they have a hard line. It's like, no, we will never bow the knee to Donald Trump. And people on the right will say, no, we will never stand for communism or socialism or public health care or whatever. And it's not important. Like, I'm not in favor. All those policies are meant to divide people. It's a psychological, it's a psyop. The people in power know that if they can get us fighting amongst ourselves, it takes the attention off of them and they're free to do whatever they please. And we're just going to wear ourselves out and have no energy to focus on the real problem, which is them, the psychopaths in power. And so I just share that kind of tidbit. And I had something else to say about that, but whatever. It'll come to me tomorrow. I'll do another live stream when I remember what I was going to say. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I've been doing all the talking. I see you're talking amongst yourselves. That's great. I love seeing that. And yeah, keep checking back in here. You know, there's always going to be more to say. I don't claim to have all the answers. I have my perspective. And I just so happen to be in a position where I've got time to do this kind of as a hobby or, you know, in my spare time. And start, you know, putting that message out into the universe. And, you know, maybe somebody will pick up on what I'm saying and either correct me if I'm way off base and totally wrong, or we can start our own movement in order to remedy the situation that we can't do head on. I believe it's going to be a ground up grassroots movement. So yeah, so Sylvia says, you know, get a group in touch with each other. So really in the last week, I guess it was around last weekend, I saw Michael Eline, who's another one of these YouTube lawyers, and I watch his live streams from time to time. He covers some relevant stuff. So he brought up this phrase that I've been hearing forever. And I've kind of been living the experience or attempting to live that way is building parallel economies and self-reliant systems. And it's real tough to do. Like, it sounds good in theory, but in practice, it's hard to motivate people to do something in real life. And so I'm living the lifestyle I want to live out here on a farm, doing the things I enjoy doing, raising animals, growing my own food, living in pretty much relative freedom compared to people living in the city. It's a fairly large prairie city. By American standards, it's tiny. It's like maybe a tenth the size of Chicago. You know, it's just small. But yeah, like people want to be living like I'm living. They see the value in it, but they're still stuck in the city. They've got cares and concerns and worries and it's like fear is the weapon that the elites or these overlords are using against us. Fear of losing it all. You know, what will happen if I lose my job? What will happen if there's not enough money to pay the mortgage? What if inflation keeps going up? It's just bombarding you with fear and overwhelming your senses so that you're paralyzed. You don't even know which way is up. And that's part of the psyop, is to keep you in this constant state of confusion. You don't know who to turn to. And so whatever, I think a good place to start in that regard is there's probably something burning on your heart that you want to be doing, but you've been putting off because you're worried about the future. It's just forget about the future, start living in the moment, and take steps to do that thing that you know you ought to be doing, and start doing it today. Like whatever, it's not transition from, you know, something and doing something completely different. Like people are going to think you've lost your mind, but start making steps, make a plan, even put it on paper, start making phone calls to people that can help you accomplish that plan, you know, collaborate, do research, because that's kind of been my story. It's like I knew what I wanted to be doing, and I took steps, and now I'm kind of moving towards the next thing, and so I have to kind of readjust and shift what I'm going to be doing in regard here. But uh, yeah, just cast that fear away, cast your doubts away, and just start believing in yourself and go do it. I mean, that's seems to be that's what Lane Meyer's approach was, and you can knock a good man down as many times as it takes, but he keeps getting up. Is don't ever stop getting up once you've been knocked down. And as one who's been knocked down many times and had to start over, basically from nothing, numerous times in my life, it's not the end of the world if you lose it all and have to start over. It's all just stuff. I mean, there's only so much room in a casket. You're not going to put all your stuff in there with you and take it. Like, it's just big enough for your carcass. So get over yourself. And just be true to yourself. I've said to Lane, I've said about Lane, I don't have advice for him. I don't have an opinion of what he should do, other than he needs to do what he needs in order to look at himself in the mirror, because he's the one that has to answer and look himself in the eye. Like I can't do that for him. He can't do that for me. But Lane's a good guy. He's a good shit. He's got honor. He's got a sense of integrity. He's got a vision. He's got hopes and dreams and desires, and you come across as a little times, or people don't know what to make of you, or misinterpret your intentions, or categorize you as neurodivergent or on the spectrum or whatever it may be. Like, this is the strategy. They'll try to other you, dehumanize you, and that's what they're doing with Lane. They're turning him into this beast. And I've spoken in the past as well about archetypes. He is the anti-hero. At first glance, you're looking at Lane hitting on a bong, swearing, wearing yoga pants, playing the most ridiculous music. I mean, I understand why he's doing it on his web streams, and like, he's not your natural antagonist superhero. He's the anti-hero. He's like the Joker in Batman. Batman is a hero, but low key, you're kind of rooting for the Joker, because there's something about that eccentric, odd personality that's attractive, and you're secretly rooting for the guy to win. And that was me. Like, once you get to know Lane, once you get to know me, there's might be something that's like, okay, this guy clearly has no grooming habits, as far as homeless Karl Marx appearance that he's rocking here, and can't even find a decent hat to wear, and dirty shirt, and doesn't know how to use cameras and technology. Well, that's not important. Like, that has nothing to do with anything. If I showed up here in a three-piece suit and perfectly manicured nails and the best finery around, that shouldn't make me an influencer. Like, that's all just tinsel and fluff. But I'm just going on and on here, so I think you get where I'm coming from. So yeah, we're not giving up. We're not giving up on Lane. It's just I don't know what to do as the next logical step, other than getting the story out. So if you have a means of getting the story out, I don't know who to call. I don't know who to email at this point. Arizona governor. This is a public service, has been posting material on his site. Some of you have been checking that out. Again, as a Canadian, I'm not going to be contacting officials in the United States. It's not that it's wrong. I just don't feel it's, I don't know. You guys have to tell me as Americans. If that's okay by you, then maybe it's worth pursuing, but I just don't see it as legit to be doing that. Like, you kind of have to sort out your own problems at a certain point. As humans, or or mankind, or pardon me, people kind, will have to band together, apart from geographic uh, on a map. But I don't think we're there yet. I'd like to see the American system pull itself out of the ashes and dust itself off and rise up and be that ideal, that American exceptionalism rising up, that city on a hill mentality, the manifest destiny. Like, there is something about the American exceptionalism. Like, as Canadians, we were never brought up with that, and so we're kind of observers, very culturally and socially similar, but also very dissimilar. So I was like, I'd like to see you guys settle this matter yourself. I can offer assistance, but I'm not. I don't know if petitioning even works. That's why I say a sidewise attack to get that delicate underbelly of the beast, that vulnerable flank. Hit them where they don't see it coming, because petitioning almost gives legitimacy to that system. Voting gives legitimacy to that system. Like, I'll tell you a situation up here in Canada. Feel free to jump in and ask me questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to ramble on and on until I pass out here or run out of refreshments. And but we have an election coming up, and so the candidate for the Liberal Party, which has just replaced the candidate has replaced Justin Trudeau. Justin Trudeau stepped in, pretty much in humiliation, and there's theories about why that is. But in any case, a new leader of the Liberal Party was selected by 100,000 people that register in the Liberal Party of Canada. And so 100,000 people got to decide who the Prime Minister is. And he's never held office in Canada. He's got dual citizenship, or possibly even triple citizenship. He's definitely got citizenship in Europe. I forget if it's in the UK as well as Canadian, but he doesn't have, he's never held an office in Canada as an elected anything. He's never run for office in Canada. I don't even know if he owns property in Canada as a residence, or, whether he's taken up residence in Canada. He has owned Canadian companies and moved them into the States. So he's not a Canada First type of guy. He's an economist type of guy. And he's also a World Economic Forum type of guy. And he's also the Bank of England central banker kind of guy. He was the chair of the Central Bank of England. And talk to people on the other side of the pond about Mark Carney and his track record and what he intends to do. And so he was installed as Prime Minister. He is our current minister until the election. And he's trying to be the strong man against Donald Trump, against the tariffs. I don't know if any of you guys are following any of the between Canada and the U.S. Trump keeps, calling on the. It's died down now, calling us the 51st state. A lot of it was maybe just trolling Justin Trudeau, saying he was going to make a great governor one day of the 51st state. I think that rhetoric is kind of dying down, or has died down at least until after the election. But the opposition to the Liberals is the Conservative Party of Canada, the CPC, and their leader is Pierre Poilievre, and he's a globalist as well. He's got ties to the World Economic Forum. He's got more or less all the same policies that the Liberals do as far as immigration and how to stand up to Trump. We're going to meet tariff for tariff, dollar for dollar, product for product. And sorry, guys, but that economic war with the United States, we're never going to overcome the United States. Like, your economy is too big. Your reliance on Canada accounts for 1 or 2% of your entire economy. Our 25% of our economy is entirely reliant on trade with the United States, possibly more, but 25%. So if our leaders try to strong arm Donald Trump and be a strong man to stand up to him, 25% of our economy is potentially wiped out, and that our economy is already devastated. Inflation wise, housing market wise, it's crazy. It's crazy. That's why I'm stacking eggs. If anybody wants eggs at $20 a dozen, come see me. I'll hook you up. That's my retirement fund, is my chickens. Um, but in any case, like, it doesn't matter who gets in next time. We're screwed. We've been done for a long time. Like the Canadian people, like our government does not serve us, and so they're capitalizing on the fact that most people in Canada hate Donald Trump, and they're going to turn out in droves to vote for the candidate who can make the strongest case against Donald Trump and his policies. And that's going to be the Liberal Party. So we're going to get more of the same, only worse, as what we had with Justin Trudeau. And I hope I'm wrong, but it doesn't matter, because if the Conservatives get in, it's not going to be much better. Like in reality, it's just like the states. They're two wings on the same bird. We don't have a populist option. We don't have any viable option in government. So the solution is not going to be political. And that's why I respond to Sylvia. It's not wrong to petition, but the political action, the political maneuvering, contacting people in government, I just haven't seen evidence that works. What I have seen is people like Gandhi. I don't know a lot about the history of Gandhi or India, or the British colonization of India, but what I understand is this frail old man basically led a movement against the British imperialists, and sat down on the beach and encouraged people to stop with the production of salt, I believe it was, and they just refused. It was non-cooperation. It was non-violent. It was civil disobedience at a national level, and it brought the British Empire, at least the imperial colonial rule in India, to its knees, just by saying, no, we're not cooperating. We're not doing what you say, and it doesn't matter if you imprison us, kill us, or whatever. We're just not. This is where. And so that's the kind of activism that is just non-compliance. It's like, don't vote. And so the point of the Canadian politics story is they're trying to entice people out to vote like they've never voted. Vote harder than you've ever heard. This is going to be the most important election in Canadian history. It's not. It's not. It doesn't matter who you vote for. But in the last election in 2021, I didn't vote, and my side won. The people that didn't vote was the greatest percentage of the total votes, like of eligible voters. The Liberal Party got the majority of people that voted, but the people that didn't vote altogether would have won. So the non-party or the null party, really, people that don't give a shit about any of this foolery, we were the ones in the majority. The reality is, though, we're not going to form a party. We're just going to ignore whatever they're doing in our country's capital, and so it's almost like they need to legitimize their authority and power over us by enticing you to vote, and vote for your representation, and vote for your leaders, vote for your slave masters. And I'm getting kind of chills at how similar I'm starting to sound like Larkin Rose, because I said something the other day, and the very next day he said almost the exact same thing, just kind of phrased it a little differently in one of his videos. But yeah, people have had enough. This isn't working, and yeah, sitting idle is not the solution either, Sylvia. But wasting your energy on pointless activities, that's never shown itself to actually bring about change. Voting is a waste of time. Yeah. But I don't even know if this is. I guess it is. Like you can't avoid the political. They've weaponized politics. They've weaponized or they've turned everything political. Gender is political. Uh, Immigration is political. The economy is political. Like, everything. Like you can't get away with it. And so the old rule: you talk about anything at the dinner table except religion and politics. Well, if you're not talking about politics, you're just talking about you know what you had for dinner the night before. Like there's nothing else to. We are in a crisis, and so when I say it's the solution is not political, it's operating within the system that is in place that they've provided, and so we have to have some kind of cultural societal revolution, hopefully nonviolent. That's what we'd all prefer. Uh, yeah, I guess. Okay, the mayor did this. Getting the people in power to agree with you, that's the challenge. I mean, there's that saying you can't fight City Hall. It's not a matter, and this is where I see Lane kind of had, he was onto something by posting on social media. And I've seen other people do this too, using Facebook, using Twitter. Is when you're posting stuff, you're showing these people. James Freeman, I keep referring to that. The thing, the stream of conscious, or the kind of method acting where he goes into government offices and starts acting as if he's this asshole with the government, is driving people nuts, and people are calling the cops on him. It's like he's just reflecting the same energy and the same attitude that we as private citizens endure every day from public officials, and he's just reflecting it back to them, throwing it back in their face, and they're losing their minds. And it's funny to see the reactions, from the troll channels and the bootlicker channels, or however you want to call them. But Lane was doing same thing. He was showing people behaving badly in places of power, and broadcasting it to an audience, whatever size it is. If it's, what do we got? 5 people or 500 or 5,000 or 5 million, whatever size your audience is, you put it out there for everyone to see, and then the court of public opinion weighs in and says, you know what, this person is a piece of shit. They shouldn't be in office. And rather than remove them, they're humiliated to the point where they just leave. Like what happened to that Rebecca Massey case, right, last summer, that Surprise, Arizona. I believe that official, whether was it the mayor of that township or county administrator, I forget what his position was, but he just left because of the backlash. Like, if you can get enough of a response from the public, these people will leave in humiliation. I think that's the victory, is to make government service as unpalatable, unattractive as possible, because you know that when you show up for work, you're being watched by members of the public. That when you get a camera in your face, it's the people's right to record you. That you have no privacy as a public official. You may as well be on welfare and just collecting checks at home, eating Doritos and bonbons, because the services you provide could well be done in the private sector at a fraction of the cost, and triple, quadruple, quintuple, tentuple efficiency. A much better job, under budget and on time. That's not how government rolls. They do it in the most inefficient way possible, the most painful way possible for the individual citizen. You got no satisfaction. You get nothing. And so all these public servants, public officials, elected officials, what have you, they're overpaid and underworked. Like they contribute literally nothing. They contribute not. Their product is damaging the citizenry. That's all they do through regulations, policies, rules, procedures, hearings, infractions, codes, bylaws. It's all meant to damage you, to take away your energy. And we don't want to lose our energy. A word from our sponsor, we want synergy. So pound that kombucha back and let's get some synergy going. That's the word. Yeah, tax parasites, whatever you want to call it, the parasite class. As you can tell, I'm not a big fan of government or public servants, public service in any way. Like anybody who's ever had to deal with a public servant that's ever lived, your experience has not been an inspiring, exciting, energizing experience. It sucks the life out of you. And so the older I get, I mean, I guess the grouchier I get, but the more I don't care what anybody thinks. So I'm going to come back here and keep talking like this. And it doesn't matter. If the thought police come for me tomorrow, it's like, yeah, whatever. I'll happily go with you and you do what you got to do. I fully expect the system in place is designed to do damage to me. So I expect to be damaged at some point. You know, there's people who say, you want to be able to minimize or mitigate that damage. And yeah, that's just wisdom or common sense. But it seems Lane has elevated the situation that he is suffering like maximum damage at this point. Like I don't know what I'd do if I was in his situation, because I guess the disappointment there is he believed the system would have his back, and it's totally revealed itself for what it is. It's meant to damage him, and it is damaging. So every hearing, every encounter that he's shared on the Lane Myers channel for nonviolent social change, you can't walk away from that and say, yeah, that public servant was justified. Lane is just being a miserable, evil, bad actor, and he's just doing this to harass and intimidate. And no, these people are ignoring your calls. They're not calls. They're giving you the runaround, putting you on hold. Like every encounter has been, just get your blood boiling. I see in the chat, people put that emoji with the steam coming out of the ears, or the face turning red and bearing the teeth. Yeah, that's it. That system is meant to suck the energy out of you, to get that cortisol, that stress hormone flowing, so that you can't function right, so that it affects your health, it affects your sleep, it affects your relationship. It's all calculated. It's all done. You think when they're training these employees for their jobs that they don't know in the back of their head that they're training a person to provide non-service, and that when people walk through the door and encounter this individual who basically has no qualifications, no skills, no values, they just train them at their position, on the job training. They've set up the system so that it's going to bring the maximum amount of frustration and the minimum amount of satisfaction to you, and it's going to stress you out. It's designed to stress you out. And if it isn't, come on in the chat and explain to me where I'm wrong, or where I went off the rails. Because yeah, you can think of it as low vibration. I don't know how much stock I put into that, but I get what you're saying. It's like, yeah, you're standing in front of somebody and you're not vibing with them. You can't even talk the same language, because they're like, yeah, I can't help you with that, or you'll have to call back, or can I have somebody call you back? Like, that's not service. That's not nothing. And so yeah, in that regard, I try to vibrate as supersonic frequency level, ultraviolet, somewhere in the upper registers there. But yeah, I think my rant is just about done. How long have we been going? Almost an hour and a half. Any other comments, questions, concerns, things you'd like to see me talk about, future streams? Like, this isn't the last word. I could probably keep going, but I am running a little bit out of energy. But if you got stuff you want to talk about, by all means, thank you, Sylvia, for bringing that up the other day. As far as covering that Rule 122H, that's other than mentioning it going forward. I don't know what more I can do. I'm open to suggestions, or if there's other matters regarding the situation, you could ask me what I think about it. I don't have much more to say at this point, other than things I would prefer to say directly to Lane, but I think I kind of said the other day. Let me see. I can show you right on my phone what's going on here. Maybe somebody can help me. So, no. Oh. Ah. Okay, I got another message from Lane. All right. So this is what okay, this is hot off the presses. So, okay, we'll go right all the way back here. There's an app you can get on your iPhone. I don't know if you're going to see that. I'll turn you this way. I'm getting too much glare. And it's this app right here. Whoops. LinkedIn. It's this GTL app. And so you can put money, you can start an account and put money on the account so that you could talk with inmates within the system. And so I put $10 down so that I could text message Lane. And you gotta, there's a whole registration process, getting out, GTL, yeah. And so I put the app on the phone, fine. I made a profile, an account, registered. I mean, they wanted pretty much everything except a blood sample. And put the $10 down, and then when I went to try to send Lane a message, I get well, actually, okay, I'll go back. So I got a message from Lane, and it's, I don't know if you can read that, but it's Daddy Brent. And so that was from Lane. It was sent on March 27th, so over a week ago. So I tried, oh, groovy. It went through, like it works. That came from Lane. And so I sent a message back. And when I send a message, here's and it never went through. Well, here's what happens when I try to send a message. It says complete your profile. And so last digits of your social security number. Well, we don't have social security. It's called social insurance number. So I provided that. And then they wanted your birth date. I think I've already provided that. I'm not going to show you my driver's license, but it's got the back of my driver's license as well as a verification photo. And then it says at the bottom, pending review by the institution. This facility requires additional profile information so that you could use all services. So I added all this information they requested, and now it's pending review. And it's been pending review for over a week. But anyways, I didn't see this. I guess he must have sent this yesterday. What's today? The 6th? Yeah, he sent this yesterday. So maybe Foshin or somebody else got a hold of him, but it says habeas corpus 5.3 pretrial with no bail. Do a story on that. Thank you for being in the trenches. So Okay, I guess now I got to go research habeas corpus 5.3, pretrial with no bail. And this is something that Michael Eline was covering on his channel, that a writ of habeas corpus is probably a chance for Lane to get some movement on the situation. So, all right, there's my assignment for the next live stream. I guess I'll see what I can do, but I'm not a legal expert. I don't know what I'm gonna be able to come back with other than uh, somebody out there help Lane with a writ of habeas corpus 5.3, pretrial with no bail. So I'm just shouting it out here right now, and we'll see where this goes. Like, without the ability to contact Lane directly, I'm going through a third party, which I don't know who. I'm assuming it's somebody who's, well, it has to be somebody who's in communication with Lane. But I I'm not a legal scholar. I'm not a legal reporter. I'm just a YouTuber, a superstar YouTuber with a channel of 175 subscribers, and we'll do what we can. Like, I don't know. Doing a story like this, is it going to make a difference? Well, it's what Lane wants, so I'll do what I can. I have no idea what the impact will be, or who's going to see, or who's going to come across what needs to be said about this, or has something that's actually going to help out. I'm up here in Canada. I can't file stuff on his behalf. I can't. There's very little I can do other than turn on a camera and talk at you guys. So at least, well, it's something. You know, it's good to know that somebody let him know that I'm watching, but I can't touch with him. And like, that's another example of the process being punishment. You know, I put $10 down on this app, expecting to be able to communicate with my friend Lane, and for reasons, they won't let me communicate back and forth. So it's not the $10. It's that Lane doesn't have access to his rights as a prisoner, and I don't have rights as a human. Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong. Maybe I can try uploading it on a different phone or something. I mean, I've got, like, this is what my Lane Myers screen looks like. Or that's my home screen. So I type in getting out. Well, let's just see what happens if I try that. Like, you do it in a browser, or what do you mean? You type it. I type in getting out GTL. Like on Safari, or are you on an Android? I'm going to try it on Safari. I'm not sure exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Close that. You don't need to see that. That's done. Yeah, if it's something I can do on the website versus the app, I don't know. You're on Android? Oh, okay. Well, yeah. What? I think it's just going to take me back to the app, but we'll see. If applicable. Sorry, I gotta read this. All right, whatever. Oh, maybe I never confirmed my account. Oh. Sorry, we're just setting up here. Yeah, it's possible I just didn't. I wasn't off setting up a pin, so I'm setting up a phone pin. Sorry about the delay here. Confirm phone number. All right. Where to go? Yeah, there's a whole menu of setup here that I've never seen this before. This looks real sketchy, but what? Yeah, we'll see. I might be able to get through to them, I might not. it's still trying to confirm or verify me. Let's see. Because I had the app, and so now I'm on their website on my phone. We'll see if it lets me send a message. Doing this in real time here. Okay, I have no idea if I just sent him a message. I don't know if it went through or not. Whatever. Whatever. Is anybody still here, or did I chase you all away with that captivating YouTubing? No, somebody's still here. So, in any case, yeah, we'll just play it day by day as far as helping Brother Lane. I mean, there's something I see in Lane. He's very similar to me. I'm very relatable with him, and so his story has captivated my imagination. And just watching, following his lead, it was always his channel. He was the star. I was there to learn and be a support. But now that channel is sitting dormant, and so it's up to us to carry the torch, or however you want to think of it. Continue the battle or carry on the fight. It is a fight. Like it's not that culture war. It's a war of worlds or world views. The people at the top, they don't think the same way we do, and they're intending to indoctrinate as many people as they can. These private citizens, these public landowners, they're doing their strategy is to capture mines, and a lot of Canadian mines, in any case, are completely enslaved by the system. And fortunately, there's enough of us, I believe, that we don't need to be the majority. I've said the American Revolution was, historically, from what I understand, I'm not a historian of the American Revolution or the Civil War or American wars, but the American Revolution was the efforts of 5% of the people that were opposed to what was going on with yeah, I don't think it's not letting me send my message. I don't think. Maybe it will. It appears that I'm still locked out to some degree. How do I verify? Yeah, I've done that already. Oh, well, we're here. May as well just carry on doing this. I'll put that same information that I put in the iPhone app into the website. I don't know that it's going to make a difference. Maybe it's because I'm not in the same country that, I was able to register as a Canadian. Like it accepted my money, no problem. So if you could take my money, you should be able to take my messages. Let's see what happens. Let's see here. Okay, I might be able to do this again in real time here. If anybody's still watching, there's 5 people watching me input my personal information in this website to contact Lane Myers. Talk amongst yourselves or shoot me a question. I'd kind of like to get this done and dealt with so that I can actually have a little. That wasn't very good. No, it's not good. Focus. That's not bad. And all right, what are we doing? Back to here. Yeah, so yeah, there's stuff we need to decide for ourselves as individuals, like how are we going to approach this? I'm sharing everything I can with you as far as what my approach is. There's oh shoot, that was no good. Let's try this again. I'm open to suggestions. Like, I'm not committed to doing it just my way. Like, there's lots of value. This is why we collaborate and come together and run ideas off each other. Like, there is security in numbers. Take a selfie here. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think? Yeah, it's not letting me upload a zip code for verification. We don't have zip codes here. We have postal codes, and there's six digits, not 5 digits. So it's asking me for a 5 digit zip code, and I can't supply that. So I am locked out. They can't verify my profile. So there you go. So if anybody's contacting Lane, yeah, Sylvia, if you have a direct line in there, just tell them like I can't get verified according to whatever parameters the app or the website has. It's asking me for stuff. Like I say, it allowed me to set up an account to take my money, but it's not allowing me the ability to use the app for the reason I set it up. So again, there must be some bureaucrat in charge of that. Must be some genius at some level of government that decided this is a good way of allowing inmates to receive messages, but it ain't working for me. So apart from setting up an American post office box, and I guess I need a physical street address. So I guess this is limited to residents of the United States. But again, they'll take my $10 to set up the account. But whatever. At least Lane can send messages. That's not the end of the world. But going through a third party, I guess somebody can let him know. I got his last message about habeas corpus, and we're on it. No, I don't promise any results. No money back guarantees. You know, results may vary. So I'll do my best, but this is not my wheelhouse as far as skill set of doing legal research. I might be able to reach out to someone like Michael Eline. I don't know any Arizona lawyers. I mean, James Freeman has gone on and on how Blair Dunn and Zach Wild, I think it is, he should have retained them as counsel. He would have made sure, they would have made sure, and they were going to work for nothing. I don't know. I don't know that. I don't have an opinion. I like James. I like Lane. I don't know what the right answer is, and so I'll do what I can finding out about habeas corpus, and if that's a possibility to, like, is that something he needs to file on his own, or somebody needs to file for him? Like, is Parvin not willing to help? I mean, that's just another red flag. You know, the Parvin thing, and thanks to Jason Zwack, who's been doing content, and I said yesterday, like, credit to him for spotting all these details and inconsistencies and everything they're doing, but I don't know if that's going to make a stick of difference. And I'm not saying stop doing it. Like, it's a way of letting people know what's going on, but I don't know if it's going to bring remedy. So yeah, keep doing it and get the awareness up. But where was I at with that? Yeah, this Parvin, this I forget the guy's first name. The public defender that's assigned to Lane's case is he was assigned during that Judge Alexander Ball hearing where Lane ended up walking out and getting arrested for contempt. You know, the kidnapping incident. So, oh, Sylvia, are you censoring yourself here? In any case, the Judge Ball assigned Parvin way back on that case, and that was like October, November. And so Parvin has been the assigned attorney. It's not like this is something recent that came up. And so to me, that smacks of kangaroo tactics in that they had planned this out months ahead of time because Judge Ball is not even on this case anymore. It's this new guy. I forget his name. It's not important, as of this discussion, but uh, it's a matter of just seeing their tactics and realizing, yeah, it's a game. They're gaming the system in their favor, and is Parvin really incompetent, or is he pretending to be incompetent? Is he a Metcalf, Judge Metcalf? Yeah. Or are they all reading their scripts and playing the game according to their playbook, according to the plan? It seems to me they're just working off the script that has been given to them, and they're saying their lines and playing their roles and doing what they need. It's like this was well ahead of time. Like we had Matt Walker on the case, we had from city to county, and then within county it was this prosecutor, and now it's Stacey Jane, and then it was Rachel Stiles. Like this is not how one goes about due process and gaining justice. Like every time someone gets removed from the case, now Lane has to readjust and start engaging with a new individual, a new judge, a new set of circumstances. And then out of left field, he thought he was able to focus on the New Mexico debacle, which again, the timing of all of this was right at the time when he was scheduled to be in New Mexico defending himself against those charges with Angel Moreno, and Doug Downey was supposed to be there, and Kent Walquist seems to be willing to play ball with Lane in that the hearings or the case is being continued until this resolves itself. But as Lane needed to be focused on that, you got some guy in a shed near Snowflake, Arizona, suddenly attacks, and then grand jury indictments come out of nowhere, and thrown in jail, no bail, no bond. Like it all just seems too fabricated. Like it's whatever you make of that attack on Lane's house. You got this tweaker, Mars, Mitch Lovin, comes and investigates. He lives in Colorado. He drove down to Arizona and was snooping around Lane's property. I don't know what happened there. I don't know what to make of all that. It's just too bizarre. But it's just way too suspicious. None of this passes the smell test, in that this is how you go about getting justice in Pima County. There's something terribly wrong going on in the state of Arizona. And I don't know if it's by design that they chose Arizona as a battlefield to do this, whether there's a way to get them to back down, but it seems like all these judges and prosecutors or former prosecutors, they're all flocking in from California, and they've got their own way of doing things, and it's just how you can expect justice as a result of all this. It seems to be a stretch of the imagination. So that's my opinion. Like, how do you put it though? Like this is where they're at. Is they're operating from the plausible deniability. It's like, well, you can't prove that we called in this hitman judge or hit woman from California just for the purpose of nailing Lane to a cross. Well, yeah, we can't prove it, but we can see what you're doing, and none of it makes any sense to any American citizen with two brain cells to rub together. Like, you don't have to be like Direct D and his minions there that sit around all day eating crayons thinking they're geniuses. Like, come on. It boggles the mind. It boggles the mind. And so something is going on. So we'll get to the bottom of it. We'll find out what's going on. Let's just put it that way. It's just a reasonable person and they use this argument, reasonableness. A reasonable person would feel intimidated by what Lane is doing. Well, no, a snowflake would feel intimidated by what Lane's doing. Someone who eats crayons might be scared by what Lane is. Reasonable people would look at this as like, okay, Lane's a weird guy, clear of him. He's not going to come after me with violence and physical bodily harm or, you know, damage to life, limb, liberty, and property. That's not what's going on here. And if you consider yourself reasonable and you can see that, please come on, jump on and explain to me how Lane Myers is suddenly public enemy number one. It just defies all reason and logic. So, which reminds me, there's another kind of principle. We'll close out with this. Is I don't like talking about logic and debating and whatnot, but I've got a little bit of a background in it, mostly as a layperson. I never really studied any of that in university. But there's the idea of logical fallacies, like you can, the ad hominem attack. Well, that's logical. When you have no argument, you just attack the person. It's like, oh, what an ugly hat. Don't listen to Brent because he's got an ugly hat. Or, you can't trust the guy who wears glasses of 4 eyes or whatever. I'm just making ridiculous attacks. But when you have no argument and the ad hominem attack is rendered, it's like, well, Lane is just, he's not a lawyer, and again, that's an appeal to authority, which is another logic. He's never gone to law school. He doesn't have a degree. He doesn't have a bar license, or he's not a bar member. Well, that's attributing authority, and it doesn't matter whether you have all those qualifications. You're either operating within the law or you're not. But anyways, one logical fallacy is the slippery slope fallacy, and I've always had a problem with this in that more times than not, the slippery slope argument, given enough time, reveals that it's not a fallacy. I'll give you an example. It's like, oh, don't worry about these, policies around climate change. It's not like they're gonna change your way of life. We just need to put a tax on pollution and carbon so that we're preserving the environment for generations to come, because we don't want the mean global temperature to increase by more than such and such and whatnot. And people that would oppose that will say, yeah, well, it starts with that. It starts with a little adjustment to your lifestyle. We're going to make this change, but eventually you're going to ban gasoline-powered, diesel-powered internal combustion engine vehicles. And like, no, that's never going to happen. That's a slippery slope. You're just you're letting your imagination run away with you. Well, where today? In Canada, but all these countries around the world, they're banning internal combustion engines by such and such a day. And so the slippery slope, in this case, has proved itself to be not a fallacy, but a fact. And people that made the argument years ago were correct. And they were labeled as lunatics or conspiracy theorists or this or that. The ad hominem attacks. But it's been my experience, the slippery slope, not a fallacy. Given enough time towards the future and see trends of behavior, they're trying people. And so the slippery slope, I don't even hardly categorize that as a fallacy. I suppose there are examples you can point to me as like, well, this is a clear example where the slippery slope fallacy proved itself. Like the thing that you predicted never happened. That was obviously a non-factual argument you were making. Well, sure, there's probably the exception, but in this case, it seems like our liberties are being eroded on purpose unto the end of total enslavement. And so that's my slippery slope argument. Somewhere in between there's nuanced discussion as to what that looks like, but the trajectory we're on as a society is that they're setting up a technocracy with bioemergence. They're going to digitize everything, every human activity. It's going to be integrated into the technological paradigm of the day. You know, whether it's AI helping us think our way through our everyday activities, causing a decline in cognitive ability, to, you know, fingerprint or retinal scans to get into the airport or the grocery store. They are trying to digitize all human activity and really commodify us. We're being transformed into human cattle. Why? I don't know how that makes a better, more secure world for all of us, but that's what these psychopaths want, and that's what they're working towards. And so the technocracy is on the rise. I think we're at a position where we can still resist it or battle it. There might come a tipping point, a day when it doesn't matter what we do. We're stuck, and we'll need the dream team of Donald Trump and Elon Musk to rescue us. But until that day, we'll continue doing what we're doing here. You know, hopefully Lane is in good spirits and not getting down about the situation. It sounds like, you know, I don't know. I haven't heard updates, so your information is as good as mine. I haven't seen a lot of people posting much of value of what's going on with Lane. I know this is a public service. They're not, Foshin hasn't been posting phone calls in any case. I don't know if that's a court ordered thing or waiting till the next hearing, which, if I'm correct, is April 15th, and it's not actually a hearing, it's like a conference where they're going to be talking about the possibilities of a plea to get Lane out. I have no advice or opinion on what should be the outcome of that. Lane has to do what's best for Lane at this point. I guess there is value in being a political martyr, but I don't think that was his plan all along. And I think we'd rather see him fight from the outside. And so we'll keep believing that he'll have his day. But it looks like a hot mess right now, just a steaming pile of bullshit. And so if that's what we got to work with, we got to pick through that steaming pile and get the results we're looking for. So believe me, I'm on a farm. I know what steaming piles look like and how to deal with them. But that's another discussion for another time. I'm just speaking metaphorically here. And because I'm starting to sound like I'm talking gibberish, it's probably time we shut this down. But yeah, the slippery slope, it's legit. It's not kooky talking. Horseshit. Yeah, it's a bunch of horseshit. So yeah, the anti-hero saga continues. It's not over. There's more to come. Stay tuned. It's only just begun, really. Like there's more to deal with. I guess freedom is for Lane is the hashtag Free Lane Myers. You put that in the chat. Get that hashtag trending. Hashtag We're All Lane Myers. Get that one trending. I don't know how to do that, but yeah, the anti-hero. There's lots more to do, but there's not going to be lawsuits. There's not going to be countersuits or any repercussions until Lane is. So I guess that's the task at hand to focus. If you're a praying type, say your prayers for Lane and for the community and for your nation, for your families. Do all those kinds of things that calm yourself, calm your mind, clear your mind, get it so you're healthy and able to function and think straight without being overwhelmed by the burden of garbage that they keep piling on, telling us we need to be concerned about this, that, or the other when it's just a distraction. So Avoid distractions. Be focused as well as you can. Drink lots of Synergy kombucha. This is Peach Paradise. Maybe we'll get a sponsorship out of this. I'm not going to be monetized on YouTube because I don't want to. I'm like Lane. I don't want to be on their leash. Money is not going to be used as a lever to influence me on this platform. To the best of my knowledge, there may come a time when it makes sense to monetize. Maybe not this channel, but others. But I want to be able to say what I need to say without fear of losing sponsors or losing income or losing influence. Like that's not what it's about. It's just about getting a message out, and whether it's to a few or to many, it doesn't make a difference to me. And so with that, we shall wrap this up. I hesitate to think I'll be doing any more live streaming today. Dad has joined the chat. I don't think my dad is on YouTube, but welcome, Dad. Commentary. You're kind of late here. You can maybe go back to the beginning and watch, but I did make a comment. I don't know if that content is actually going to make an impact, because it seems like Lane needs a Hail Mary intervention at this point. You know, a long bomb from the end zone. So Jason has been doing coverage of, you know, inconsistencies of what's been happening throughout this ordeal for Lane. And thanks for popping in. I was just about to shut this down, but now that you're here, we can talk a bit. I'm not gonna. I have nowhere to be, so. Yeah, there's just details that other people, and they contribute to the idea that Lane is not guilty of the things they're saying he's guilty of. They're creating a narrative to convince someone, whether it's a judge or the public, that Lane ought to be put away because he's a danger to somebody or to everybody, or to, I don't know, he's going to make the universe collapse in on itself or something. And Jason has been showing, like, this is a detail that they thought they could slide in there, slip past us, but no, he's like a dog on a bone, sniffing out every angle of this, and so he's got a good perspective. But some of these details are sort of, I don't want to say irrelevant, but I don't know that it's going to make a big difference at this time, unless he was like sitting down in a conference with Lane himself as well as Parvin and coming up with a strategy. Or maybe there's some outside counsel that can go and represent Lane. I know Michael Eline has been talking about some reciprocal agreement with the Arizona legal system, that he could provide some assistance, but I don't know where he's at with that. But it's like everything I see that Jason Zwack is doing, I just don't know that it's going to end up benefiting Lane as far as getting him out from behind bars. I would love to be wrong about that. I hope, like, I'm not telling Jason to stop doing that. By all means, he's getting the message out there that look at what they're doing to Lane. And so people watching that are going to start asking questions like, why is this even happening? And then they'll find my channel and get my perspective, and then they'll go to This Is a Public Service, and then they'll go to this channel, and then they'll go to Lane's channel and look at the videos in question. And so it's all a process, and like I say, it's the proof of misconduct. Yeah, but the point of my whole presentation is it doesn't matter. Their misconduct is allowed in their system. There's hold them accountable unless we do it ourselves in the form of YouTube to point out what we need to do and what they're doing, and essentially do what Lane was doing, which was publicly shaming and humiliating these people in government, these public officials, public servants, public employees, civil servants, whoever they are, making them look so bad that the public can't help but cry out and point the finger and say, no, you guys are just, we call shenanigans. Like, we're not going to stand for this. Uh, Trying to get it done through procedure and through the courts, they tolerate their own misconduct, but they won't tolerate your misconduct. And so that's kind of the game. That's where it's at. It's the George Carlin idea that there's a big club and you and I are not in it, and that's what we got. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but we got to accept that reality. Is like these psychopaths are the ones that make the rules, enforce the rules. I do love that quote Lane said, I don't break the law, I enforce the law. Well, that sounds good, but in practice, he's the one that's sitting in a cell right now and not Alexander Ball or Rachel Stiles or any of these other clowns or Angel Moreno, or, they're the ones that I look at their behavior, all these people coming against, Christopher Wren, any number of vile creatures that have attempted to remove Lane's life, liberty, and property from him. They're the guilty ones. Like, the court of public opinion has weighed in. I find them guilty. I slam down the gavel. I slam down or better yet, I slam down my bottle of kombucha. And my sentencing is that they be subject to public humiliation for the rest of their lives, because that's what they need. They need to be laughed at. They need to be ridiculed, because taking it to them in their halls, in their courtrooms, and their procedures and their rules, those rules are made for them to break, but not for you. And so, getting yours out of that system, getting what's coming to you is very difficult. The proof of misconduct is there, but it still counts on the scoreboard as a win for the system. And so Lane's remedy is gonna, I don't have the legal acumen to know what it's gonna take. I think the idea of getting the story out there, if you have a background in the story, which I've been watching Lane for just about a year now, and fairly closely. I haven't missed a lot of his content. I know Sylvia's been watching for a long time. Others that have tuned into this channel, and we've seen them all. I'm not familiar with you, Dad. I think it's Avatar, but welcome. You're and B Part is coming up with a viable strategy. I just don't see meeting him. And that's what Lane was trying to do, like get in the ring and just box it out with him and see, whoever's the most powerful is going to prevail. Well, that whole legal machinery is too much for one person to overcome. Even if you have the stamina, the courage, the legal understanding, the photographic memory, the attitude. And so it's Swarm Ants. Who's it? Anna Banana Republic, who's in Tucson. Or in that area. I don't know if she's right in Tucson. Yeah, she might be right in Tucson, but she keeps referencing that Disney Pixar movie about the ants saying to the grasshoppers, like, there's more of us than there are of you. We don't need you grasshoppers. And that's where we need to realize, like, there's more of us than there are of them. And as crude as this sounds, it's not a threat. It's just the reality. And this is a saying I got from Lionel Nation. He's a guy from New York City that he does a daily vlog on YouTube as well. His channel is Lionel Nation, but he's actually a litigator as well. He's a bar member, but very freedom and liberty minded. But he's kind of part of the system as well. But I appreciate his perspective. But he says when it comes to the elites, the globalists, the New World Order types, the superstructure, the machine that is in place. The reality is there's more of us than there are of you, and we could drown you in our piss. We are showing restraint at this moment in time. And don't mistake our silence for agreement. you know, we're kind of tolerating what's going on, but uh, we're 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 pretty patient that you'll do the right thing, and we're very patient people until we're not, is kind of the message. So again, that's not a threat, but that's the reality. You can only push people so far. And if you're watching this, if you've been watching Lane Myers, you know, there's people that have been pushed too far. And this is where we're standing our ground. So appreciate the effort you've been making to respond to Walker's motion, to hide what they're doing to Lane. Yeah, I just kind of was rehashing what Lane already covered. I did the stream yesterday, so if you check that out, I referenced Lane's original material, but that's like a 4-hour live stream. I mean, it's a fun one. He does a lot of dancing, and I forget if there were yoga pants in that. That may be a reason to not watch that if that's not your taste. But yeah, I'm just doing what comes natural, and so I started this YouTube channel because there's a reason. Shout out, welcome C. Is that your Christian name, or is that just a YouTube alias? Shout out to Mike Torres, 30 today, of the clan Latoris. 30 years old or 30 months old, like what? C, you're such a joke, such a trickster. Does Mike Latoris ever met Mike Oxlong? Curious to know. Maybe you can tell me, C. But welcome. You're gonna have to leave a like on this video for that one, otherwise I'm gonna ban you. So if I don't see a like pop up in the next, well, let's give you 1 year to put a like on this video. If you don't put a like on this video before April 6th, 2026, you're gonna be banned. Bond. So any other questions? Like, yeah, I was saying before, a shout out to Mike Latoris, who's 30 today. Everybody say happy birthday, Mike Latoris. Yeah, I started this channel because I felt YouTube is opening wide their doors to small content creators, small channels like this. And it doesn't take a lot to get started with a YouTube channel. And so if you're in chat rooms or if you're chatting on live streams and that kind of stuff, and doing this kind of thing, if you're commenting on lots of videos, it's like, instead of talking on YouTube, on other people's channels, just start your own channel and get your message out there. So that's what I'm encouraging people to do. If you have the time, everybody's situation is different, but that's really my approach. And I think that's similar to what Lane was doing. It's like he started seeing there's a problem, and I need to get people gathered around me in a community where, you know, we can watch out for one another. And so that's a legit strategy. And you can use Facebook, although I find Facebook is rather toxic. Twitter is just, it's a cesspool. I have a Twitter account. I don't do much with it other than repost typically interesting stuff I find on YouTube. So I'll repost Larkin Rose stuff. I'll repost various things that I find interesting, but I don't put a lot of tweets out, just my original thoughts. This is my platform, because Twitter has a crowd, and it's just like they just want to fight, and it's a lot of normies and Elon Musk fanboys. I know I'm generalizing, but this is just my feel on Twitter. It's not helping to be on Twitter and just blah, vomiting all this weirdo. Like everybody's got an opinion, and it's just it's like contributing to the noise. Where this is sort of we can find each other here and come together and make strategies and make plans and help each other. You know, we're all motivated to help Lane, and so I'm kind of pleased that the haters aren't here, but the haters are welcome. Like come and challenge what I'm saying, what we think about the Lane situation. Like convince us that we need to be bootlicker normies like you are, that hate the Constitution, that hate the American way of life, that hate freedom and liberty. Like tell me why I need to just obey and consume. Like if you're that wise, by all means, come rehabilitate me, educate me. You know, tell me how my the education system let me down and how my parents didn't do a good job, or you know, let me have it. Let me come at me, bro. Unfortunately, like I look at these frauditor channels, I look at their comment section, and these people just they hate America. They would be much happier if they went and lived in China or even South Korea. You know, it's very safe there, very secure, very clean. But I don't know. It's just when I think of America, there's certain things. The screeching bald eagle, the old glory, stars and stripes, and this rugged determination, this individualism, this pioneering spirit, this freedom loving spirit, and that's crumbling before our eyes. Like that culture seems to it's still here, but the counterculture to that is this bootlicking authoritarianism, and that's not what I want to be a part of. And I'm going to stand my ground. I'd rather stay here. Why should I have to move somewhere where there's less authoritarianism? I'm just going to fight. You know, wherever I go, wherever you go, you're going to have to encounter and stand up to the authoritarianism wherever you are. So it's sort of as tempting as it might sound some days to try to emigrate to the United States. You know, try to get a visa or a green card or citizenship. It's so much better in the States. You know, you hear from Canadians. It is, but it isn't. Like you've got authoritarianism there just as bad as we do here. It's just a different flavor, a different brand, different faces. So wherever you are, just stand your ground and fight that authoritarianism. And to me, it's biblical. Like the Bible is God's story of leading His people in a fight against authoritarianism. So if you don't believe me, we'll do a Bible study one day. But it's story after story after story of the history of God and His people standing up to tyrants and how to defeat them. Because God is on our side. He's on Lane's side, and He's on my side and your side. So with that, if there's no more comments, I think we'll cut this dealio off for now. I don't think I'll do a live stream tonight. We'll see. I don't have a lot more to say today. If I think of something important to say, I'll blast out a community post and let you know. But I think we'll just take Sunday night off and relax. Have yourself a nice Sunday dinner with whoever is important to you. And I've put out a video about how the law works in AZ. They do whatever they want. I always thought this way. Now I'm on the edge. Can you clarify what you mean? I don't watch Christopher Ruff. It makes my brain start dripping out of my ears. Like he's buying channels with these big subscribers. Latest is brain rot. He just seems like such a fake. So I don't put any stock in anything he does or says. I can't watch him for more than 5 minutes at a time. Like he doesn't come across as very smart. He seems like I'll just say it, my opinion is that he's like an informant, either an FBI or some kind of government asset, and he's like a Pied Piper. He's leading his followers down some path And I know there's a guy up here locally that's one of his followers, and I see the content he puts out, and it's not good. It's not good. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of curious as to what he's saying, but I don't have what it takes to watch him. He's just mostly unwatchable, and in the back of my mind, I think he's Mark or a plant. Like he's the psyop, from what I can determine. Like he's causing all that YouTube beefs with people that really has no business causing a stir with, and but people are following him. It's not a huge following, but he'll have like a new channel with subscribers, but you look at his live streams, there's 100 people watching, and then a day later it's 600 views. Well, I thought you were Mr. Direct D with 30 subscribers. Like what? It just seems so astroturfed, so fakey, so inauthentic. So, uh, and it's not even character defects. He just seems like he's bought and controlled opposition. So maybe we'll have to have a YouTube beef, YouTube blood sports with Direct D someday. But nothing he does seems authentic. So that was one statement that was so pragmatic. In Arizona, they do whatever they want. Well, the reality is they do that wherever they want, all over the place. Like Arizona does seem to have some exceptional qualities. Got a theory that they are trying to cross promote. Who's promoting who specifically? Because I'm not promoting Ruff, that's for sure. Everything I see, what he's doing is just totally whacked out. I don't know that it's contributing to his notoriety. Like, I don't see him growing an influence. It's funny watching. Like, I follow and participate in a lot of Clash with Bao live streams and Smurf Watch transparency, and it is hilarious content what these tweakers are doing, and that's, I categorize Chris Ruff as a full-on tweaker. And you know, his compatriots, whether it's Ryan Youngblood or Warren, all these Mitch Lovin, Mars, like even bad press. That's what I've been like. I'm not stalking Ruff, but I check every once in a while just to see what his channel is doing, and it's not doing anything. He's got, again, that the Direct G channel. He doesn't post much on there. He's doing a lot more on Christopher Ruff, and then Brain Rot channel. I guess he's trying to reach out to Generation Alpha, the young generation, to indoctrinate them or something. But I don't see anything of value growth-wise coming out of that. He still gets like 100, 200, 500 views. So that's, maybe that's going to grow. Maybe he just, it's just a matter of time. But it seems like people aren't responding to what he has to say. It seems like people understand he's just a YouTube tweaker, and he's basically got virtually unwatchable content. I mean, he sits there like my Christopher Ruff impersonation is sitting there reading comments, you know, mouth breather with his mouth open, and hitting the bong and giggling like a little girl. And he looks like some kind of Twinkie prison bitch with the neck tattoos. Like, you don't look tough. You don't scare me. You're not a tough guy. Nobody's afraid of you. Nobody's intimidated by you. But you talk this prison culture phony baloney. Like, people are pointing out your inconsistencies. And so it's sort of, I wasn't really planning on going here, but since you brought it up, Dad, like, I don't know what your take is. You seem to be in agreement that he's not worth the time, and maybe the bad press is going to be a benefit to somebody, but I'm not trying to gain YouTube notoriety or clout by to kind of poke me in Lane Meyer's chats and comments. He was taking little jabs at me, and I just trolled right back at him. So I don't know if this is going to come back to him, and he's going to point the tar or paint a target on my back. But it's like I want nothing to do with that guy. There's nothing of value that he's doing. I don't get why people. And I told Lane through email when this YouTube beef with Ruff was going on. It's like, forget about that guy. He's a distraction. He's just going to take away your energy. Like, so I don't know. I don't know what got into Lane that you just can't resist a fight. You know, when it's time to throw down, you just go at it. But I think it was a miscalculation to try to tangle with Ruff because he had other more important stuff going on than dealing with a tweaker in a shed who raises goats and wants to start a law firm and he's a felon. Like it just is nonsense. You know, it's full on tweak. We got more of Ruff in the feed and less of Lane in the feed, and state actors going through Lane's channel content in his absence, trying to control the narrative. In Lane's feed? I don't know what's going on with the Lane Meyer's channel. Like, there's no new content being posted. And I haven't really gone back and looking at comments, but yeah, there was some weird crap that Ruff seemed to be trying to get under my skin, and so I did a little bit of poking around and found, okay, he's doing this, he's doing that, and just out of curiosity, you know, I'm not that interested, that concerned about Christopher Ruff in the slightest, you know, and so yeah, maybe I'll just, if I have time, I'm finding I have less and less time. The more time I spend YouTubing instead of watching YouTube, I don't have the free time because I'm more thinking about what content I want to put out there instead of what content I need to see. And so there is stuff that I typically have my daily favorites, you know, whether it's political news or you know, this live stream or that, but my greatest YouTube joy in the last few months has been Smurfwatch, Transparency, and Clash with Bao. I'm literally, it's an ab workout. I'm afraid I'm going to crack a rib one of these days. Like, the laughter is as much as I can handle. So if you're watching this and you want a shout out or a place to go, my intention, and I've said this before, and this is my approach with Lane Meyer's channel. It's been my approach with Smurfwatch and Clash with Bao, is to show up and just reflect that energy back to whatever's going on the screen. And my intention is just to show up and get in the chat and act like a total retard. And it is so much fun. It's almost an alter ego. But if you guys were around watching, you know, posts during the marathon live streams of Lanes, it's like we had a ball. That was so much fun. And it was just, it was weaponized trolling. It was more of the same. It was like, you know, some YouTube creators have a knack for drawing this out of people. And Lane is one of them, and Bao is another. It's like the community on Bao's channels is hilarious. Like, everybody's got something they're contributing, and I'm sitting there just in tears laughing at what's going on in the chat, and then Bao himself is contributing, and so it's such a delight to find people that have such a, it's almost like a juvenile junior high mentality. Like, this is how it was when I was young in school. We didn't have political correctness. We didn't have rules, cultural rules like this. It was anything goes, and some of these places on YouTube, that still exists. And so I'm having like a second childhood here, going onto these different channels and just having a ball. And the laughter, the value of the laughter, releasing the dopamine is better than any high you're gonna have taking a hit off a blunt or a pipe or a bong or whatever it is, or out of a whiskey bottle, or in Walker's case, a bottle of gin or a Bud Light. Um, yeah, uh, go find a place where you can laugh uncontrollably, and get back to me and thank me, because it we need a good laugh. The whole world's going crazy, and fudging the comments. Yeah, I'll have to go investigate that. Like it's it is what it is. Um, there is that old adage, don't feed the trolls, but a lot of it is not trolls, it's haters. So that's a little different. Trolling has behind it, in my definition, an element of humor, and there's value and wisdom in it. Where hating is just, you come onto a channel and you start attacking. Nobody, like, you have no ability to read the room. Everybody turns on you, and so it's not good natured trolling, which is what I attempt to do. Uh, Maybe I'm doing a good job, maybe not, but when these haters show up, it's like they have nothing to say, they have no reasoning, they have no ability to converse. They're just there to be toxic. And so trolling at its essence, toxicity is not the primary component. It may be a tertiary or lower level component, but toxicity is never the goal of the troll. The troll is there to get laughs and to get a point across. And you can do it subtly, you can do it aggressively, but it's not just to spread toxicity. And that's what I've seen in Lane's chat. I've seen it in mine a little bit, very mildly, mind you. But yeah, come on in here and hate, and we'll troll you like you've never been trolled before. And I mean, places like Ruff's channel, well, the trolls, they're not allowed. They get banned, or they get timed out, or they're Ruff does not believe in freedom of speech. He doesn't believe in the First Amendment, nor do his moderators, nor do the people in his chat. You say what Chris approves of, otherwise you're gone. That's just the reality of it. Whereas you go to Powell's channel, he doesn't ban anybody. How many times you've been watching Lane Myers like, Ma, don't time anybody out, don't ban anybody. Let them dig their own hole with their tongue, or with their keyboard, the keyboard warriors. And that's my intention here too. I'm the only moderator. I mean, there's not much to moderate at this point, but we don't need to be banning people because they disagree. Come to me with your disagreements and tell me how wrong I am. I mean, Ruff with his fake YouTube lawsuits to Bao. I mean, Bao gets the notice and he's laughing. But Lane, I guess not understanding the way the YouTube legal process works, he turned that into a thing. And really there was no thing there. So again, that's maybe Lane's inexperience with YouTube as a platform. He's only been using YouTube for a relatively short time to get his message across, but it's funny. Like, yeah, YouTube censors enough. As a content creator that's doing live streams, claiming you're into the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and you're banning people, like it's to laugh. See how many state actors bombarding his last post, asking for help getting out of jail. Lawyers, cops, and ruffians defaming him while he's in jail. Yeah, I'll definitely check out Lane's channel. I haven't kept up because obviously, like, the content creator is not putting much content up there. But if there's some community posts that somebody's helping him with, then I'll see what he's saying. But like, people aren't going to Lane's channel right now, other than the goofs and the bootlickers and ruffians, lawyers, cops, etc. The feds, the assets. So it's sort of, they can say what they want. They're just revealing who we need to keep our eye out for. But Ruff he's, I don't know. he's doing what he needs to do. He's motivated by something. I don't know what it is, but he bragged about sticking a phone up his butt in prison and how that's a good thing. Like, it's just, I don't know. If that doesn't make you laugh, all the trolling that has happened as a result of, like, on one hand, I want to see Christopher Ruff go away, but on the other, it's like I want him to have a long, prosperous YouTube career so that I'll be laughing well into, my twilight years. Like, I'll still be tuning in and laughing at Christopher Ruff. And maybe he'll be laughing at me. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I got to the point in my life, I don't care what you think. You can make up stories about me. It's like, all right, whatever, I'm not Brent walk the line Shymko, but if you're going to try to pin something on me or make accusations, like, have fun with that. Like, I've got nothing. There's nothing you're going to get on me. I'm pretty much in the process of selling my house. So I'll be moving on sometime throughout the summer. So essentially I'll be doxing myself at some point. So you'll be able to find out where I am online. I don't care. Like, what are you going to do? Order pizza to my house? Like, if that's the worst you can do, or if you get a bright idea, you're going to send Mitch and Jim Freedom to my place to intimidate me or whoever. I still don't know what's going on with that. Like, this, I'm just laughing because the narrative is out there. And this is Lane Myers responsible for this. I have no idea what happened with that broken window at Lane's house. It's extremely odd. Extremely odd. That's all I can say. But yeah, don't stop the laughter. Please, Christopher Ruff. Keep tweaking. Tweak hard, man. We need you tweaking. We need Mitch to tweak out. Driving around with a dead dog in the back of his Nissan Armada. So that we can... Oh, it is such good content. Let the games begin. I'm not making the best of this. I just don't care. I don't care anymore. Like, come at me, bro. Like, you're going to take my channel away like you did with Chris Ryder. Like, I don't know Chris Ryder. I was familiar with the For Public Safety channel when I saw him get arrested, him and his wife, for trying to request documents, part of their case in whether it was Indiana or Tennessee or wherever they're at. And so that's all I really knew about Chris Ryder. And then somehow there was a YouTube beef, and Chris Ruff now has For Public Safety. Like, that's not how people get a following on YouTube, by stealing other people's channels. So if you're going to steal my name and my channel, have at it. What a joke. He's attacking. I've got 170 something subscribers, and he's making out me to be his enemy. Talk about punching down, Mr. 30,000 subscribers. Like, it. How do you not laugh at that? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not going to do these long, rough live tangle with him. It's just too funny. It's not worth it. It's not worth my time. It's just for entertainment purposes. But there are people taking him seriously, and those people worry me, because you don't know what people love, I guess. So there's a lot of tweakas out there, folks, and it's better to laugh at them than have to deal with them face to face. I guess that's the takeaway. That's the moral of the story. But yeah, Chris Ruff showing up at my door, with his neck tattoos and his Twinkie haircut, and I mean, he looks like a jailhouse bitch. That's just how he comes across. Yeah, I wasn't planning on going here today, but I guess this is what I really feel. This is what I really feel about you, in case you wanted to know. Tell us how you really feel, Brent. This is it. Like he's a felon, allegedly. Like I actually have my doubts about that, whether he's even been to jail. I mean, there's a rabbit hole there. Uh, but I'm not even interested in researching that. But just everything he says and does, he doesn't come across as any kind of. There's no authenticity in anything he's doing, other than living in a shed in the desert with his ogre wife and his kids that he never uh, registered their birth. So technically, if ICE came after him, like, or yeah, you can finish the idea. Like his kids aren't. Maybe they're citizens by birth, but it seems like there's no record of them even existing. So like, what's your plan here, Ruff? Or is that just a story? Is that part of the psyop? Living on a pile of rocks in an unproductive corner of the Arizona desert, an hour away from the nearest Walmart, when you got young kids and you can't even leave your shed because you got warrants. And like, what? It just sounds like so ridiculous. Like that's how you want to live, and convince everybody you're a tough guy. So good luck with that. Yeah, like if Christopher Ruff says what he says is true, like he's not getting across the border, so it's like just that border patrol is able to have uh, an interest in protecting me from the likes of Christopher Ruff. So yeah, take my YouTube channel. Like I don't care. I've been doing this for 3 months. It's not like it's not like I have anything to lose. Come attack me. Just keep going after that YouTube clout or whatever it is you're trying to work towards. I don't know. Is it to be an influencer? Is it to have a big following? Is it just to sow strife and division so that people are attacking each other? Like I hope people aren't falling for that. Like sort of triangulating and playing people against. That's what manipulators and narcissists do. So I don't know if he's that smart or if somebody's feeding him lines, but that whole connection with JJ Scarborough and all this weird stuff that goes on in that shed. I have no interest getting too close to that, but I do want to laugh as hard as I can at that because it is funny as can be. So if you have access to some of the channels that are following what Ruff is doing, I'm not going to do a lot of coverage of what Christopher Ruff is doing because it's just not it's not something I'm interested in. But I am having a bit of a laugh here. So thanks for bringing up the topic. Whatever Ruff is doing, like yeah, there might even be like slivers and shreds of truth mixed in with all that dog shit that's mixed in with it as well. And so it's like I'm not interested in picking through all the crap to get to the gold. Like he's not a reliable source of information or truth. He just every instinct of me says he's a Fed or an asset to the Feds, or he's just part of the psyop. So, phony as a $3 bill, and until I get big, I don't think that's going to happen. I hope that doesn't happen. The state wouldn't take down the videos. It's YouTube that would. But not monetized. I'm not restreaming any of his content. That's what really pisses Ruff off is when Val starts restreaming. That's when he'll do copyright strikes and whatnot. Nothing I'm saying is defamatory. It's just my opinion of him. It's typical YouTube beef. So if I'm violating YouTube's policy, then YouTube will come after me. But if Ruff comes after me or any other creator and strikes me with this, that, or the other, it's it's sort of a non-issue. Like, really, like what? Uh, they either ban the channel or like take it down, but I haven't done or said anything to cause that to be triggered. And so if there's a YouTube beef going on, well, then it's a beef. That's it. And so you've got these creators that think they're able to get their pound of flesh by striking other channels behind Chris Ryder's ordeal with. I have no interest in watching any of his content. 4 hours, 5 hours of live streaming in the middle of the night. I mean, that guy, his serotonin, melatonin levels, circadian rhythms must be completely out of whack. That contributes to the tweak and his own personal brain rot. You can't start streaming in the middle of the night, end your live stream at 10 o'clock in the morning or noon. Like, you've just wrecked your whole hormonal balance throughout the day. Like, you're just a hot mess. And everything I see about Chris indicates and confirms that, yeah, he's not in control of what he's saying. He seems to be controlled by somebody else. And so it's almost like he's being paid to get on YouTube and be a total idiot. And that's a character you could play. Like, maybe he's just playing a character. Because nothing about him seems authentic. That's just my opinion. If I'm wrong, if he's legit, I mean, okay, here's what I found out of it. He was featured. If you Google Christopher Ruff, I don't have my presenter set up on OBS, but you Google Christopher Ruff, criminal record or something like that, and you'll find there's a YouTube news feature on him. There's a write-up in not the Washington Post, possibly, like these big mainstream papers were covering it, but it's like these big known psyop Jeff doing write-ups of Christopher Ruff, and it's like he's been set up spotlight as the spokesman for auditing community or the cop watching community, and it just seems so astroturf. Like, why is the armed fisherman not featured? Why is this guy not featured? They seem a lot more authentic than Christopher Ruff. Like, he just, something about him just seems so fake. And when I saw there's full features, and so Long Island Audit was in a feature article with him, as well as I think Lackluster, who I don't know if he's so much of a, I'm not too familiar with him as a cop watcher. It seems like he more rebroadcasts other people's content and comments on it. But Christopher Ruff was featured, and the bulk of the majority of the article was about Christopher Ruff and his alleged charges, which were armed robbery and kidnapping. I don't know, maybe. But now he's this crusader for public transparency and freedom of speech while he bans people on his channel, and he's in the Washington Post or whatever. Like, it doesn't pass the smell test. Like, just more evidence that I wouldn't trust this guy as far as I could throw, which isn't very far. But whatever, I guess my rough rant is over. You can only talk about this guy for so long before you burst out into laughter. Like, maybe he takes himself seriously, but I don't know who else does. Like, a small following of people that I look at what they're doing on YouTube, and it's like, I don't think that's the right way. I think more of what, it's not that I'm right, but more of this genuine. Like, am I coming across as a fakeo weirdo, or am I am I generally coming across as this is who I am? Like I'm not playing a character here, am I? Uh, I mean, I do a little bit of method acting where it's convenient and entertaining, but this is me. This is Brent Shymko. I'm not hiding behind an avatar or a brand. I'm not direct B. Uh, I'm Brent, and I'm getting on here telling you what I really feel about stuff and making an honest effort to be as authentic as I can. Could I do better? Of course, but I look at someone like Ruff and people that are emulating him as like, you guys, come on. I don't see that that's going to get results, other than you're just going to continue going around making YouTube beefs with people. If that's what you want, that's what you want. But bit by bit, I'm trying to improve this platform so that I could do more collaborations with panels and interviews and stuff with other people instead of me just going on for 2 hours now and about not much. Although it is cool that in real time we saw a message from Lane. If people can communicate back to Lane that I'm getting your messages, I just can't, because of the nature of the app that I'm using or that's available as a Canadian, I can't access communication back and forth, but Lane can send me as many messages as he needs, and I am receiving them, and I'll do my best to respond to whatever he says, directly communicate with him, and that's okay. We'll manage. It's that's just the way the system works, and we'll have to. That's, I think, my creative find workarounds, and so given enough time, we'll find a workaround for all this. If we have to send smoke signals from our bongs in a shed in the pile of rocks in the middle of Arizona, we'll send smoke signals to Lane Myers and get our message across. But with that, I think we'll shut it down. If you have any final comments, Dad, or anybody else who's still watching, I know it's tough to stay focused on long rambling live streams. I had a question too. Like, do people like, is this kind of content what people are looking for nowadays? Some of those 4 or 5, 6 hour live streams of Lane's is like, they're so exhausting. But it's almost like there's a hunger for that. I kind of don't see myself going on and live streaming every day, like making a commitment to do that. But if it makes sense, I can be committed to do that. But I just wonder, like, is that going to be effective? Like, I want to use my time efficiently because I've got stuff to do. It's not that I'm a big important guy, and but like I could be doing other things. But as far as getting the message out, I can be here as much as I need to be. But marathon live streams, I don't know if that's actually the best use of my time or all our time. But I'll only do it if it's actually going to accomplish what we are hoping. I don't like just wasting my time or your time. So with that, if there's no final comments from the Court of Public Opinion, or if anybody from the Peanut Gallery wants to weigh in, now is your chance, because I think I'm about ready to go use the bathroom and find out what else is happening out here in Farmville. Where are we? We're on here. So I'm going to shut this down here, and thank you for coming. We'll see you on the next one. I don't know when that's going to be. Watch my community posts, so I'll let you know ahead of time when I plan to go live. Have a great one, everybody. Happy Sunday. Yes, goodbye.